Have you ever wondered how a young entrepreneur captivated the world with a revolutionary medical technology, only to be exposed as a fraud? Step inside the captivating tale of Theranos and its founder Elizabeth Holmes as we unravel the intricate web of deception in this shocking exposé. Elizabeth Holmes, early life and family background. Elizabeth Holmes was born on February 3, 1984 in Washington, D.C. Her father, Christian Rasmus Holmes IV, worked at Enron, an energy company that later went bankrupt due to dishonesty in their finances. Her mother, Noelle Ann, worked for a government group. Elizabeth's father also held important positions in government agencies like USAID, the EPA, and USTDA. Elizabeth has family ties to Denmark. One of her great-great-great-grandfathers, Charles Louis Fleischmann, came up from Hungary and started a yeast company called Fleischmann's Yeast Company. Elizabeth's family took pride in this business history, and her parents aspired for their family to regain wealth. This inspired Elizabeth to pursue her goals from a young age. Elizabeth completed high school at St. John's School in Houston. During her time there, she developed an interest in computer programming and started her first business selling C++ software to Chinese universities. Her parents arranged for her to learn Mandarin Chinese, and she also attended a summer program at Stanford University to further her education. In 2002, she enrolled at Stanford University to study chemical engineering. She worked as a student researcher and assistant in the School of Engineering. In her first year, she also conducted tests for a respiratory virus at the Genome Institute of Singapore. In 2003, she filed her first patent application for a patch that could deliver medicine. Unfortunately, that same year, Elizabeth experienced a traumatic event when she reported being raped while at Stanford. In March 2004, she made the decision to leave Stanford School of Engineering and use the money she had saved for tuition to start her own healthcare technology company. Founding of Theranos. Elizabeth Holmes founded a company called Real Time Cures in Palo Alto, California in 2003, with the main goal of making healthcare more accessible. Holmes, who had a fear of needles, aimed to develop blood tests that required only a small amount of blood. When she shared her idea with her Stanford medicine professor Phyllis Gardner and other medical experts, they told her it couldn't be done. However, Holmes persisted and convinced her advisor, Channing Robertson, to support her. That same year, Holmes changed the company's name to Theranos and sought the help of venture capitalists through Robertson's introduction. Holmes greatly admired Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, and intentionally emulated his style by frequently wearing black turtleneck sweaters. She claimed that her mother used to dress her in black turtlenecks when she was young, when she started the company. In 2007, a colleague suggested she adopt Jobs' famous turtleneck look. In most of her public appearances, Holmes spoke with a deep masculine voice.
Is it possible to eliminate the tubes and tubes of blood that traditionally have to be drawn from an arm?
However, a former colleague stated that he heard her speaking in a more typical female voice when she welcomed him to the company. Gardner from Stanford also denied that Holmes naturally had a deep voice. On the other hand, Holmes' family insisted that her deep voice was genuine. In a 2023 interview with the New York Times, Holmes spoke in her real, higher-pitched voice and confirmed that the low voice was a deliberate choice.
Because the man didn't have fingers, and it turned out he had...
Funding and growth for Theranos. In December 2004, Holmes secured $6 million in funding for her company. By the end of 2010, Theranos had received over $92 million in investment funds. In July 2011, Holmes met with George Shultz, a former Secretary of State, and he joined the board of directors after a 2-hour discussion. Over the next 3 years, Holmes assembled a highly esteemed board for Theranos, which was considered remarkable in the history of American businesses. Until September 2013, Holmes kept Theranos in a secretive state, without making any public announcements or having a company website. However, in September 2013, the company disclosed its collaboration with Walgreens to establish blood sample collection centers in their stores. Holmes was interviewed by Eric Topol, the editor-in-chief of Medscape, who praised her for revolutionizing laboratory medicine. In 2014, Holmes gained significant media attention by appearing on the covers of Fortune, Forbes, T, the New York Times Style magazine, and Inc. Forbes acknowledged her as the world's youngest self-made female billionaire and ranked her 110th in the Forbes 400 list in 2014. At that time, Theranos was valued at $9 billion and had secured over $400 million in investment funds. By the end of 2014, Holmes held 18 US patents and 66 foreign patents in her name. In 2015, Holmes made agreements with Cleveland Clinic, Capital Blue Cross, and AmeriHealth Caritas to utilize Theranos technology. Downfall of Theranos. John Carreyrou, a reporter for the Wall Street Journal, secretly investigated Theranos after becoming suspicious of their blood testing device called Edison, following concerns raised by a medical expert. Carreyrou spoke to former employees who exposed the company's wrongdoing and obtained internal documents. When Elizabeth Holmes, the CEO of Theranos, learned about the investigation, she tried to prevent Carreyrou from publishing his findings by using her lawyer, David Boies, who threatened legal action and financial consequences against the journal and the whistleblowers. Despite the threats and pressure, Carreyrou's article was published in October 2015. The article revealed that the Edison device produced inaccurate results and exposed Theranos for using other machines instead of their own device for most of their testing. Carreyrou continued reporting on the company's problems and Holmes' actions in subsequent articles. In 2018, he published a book called Bad Blood: Secrets and Lies in a Silicon Valley Startup, which detailed his investigation into Theranos. Holmes denied all the allegations and dismissed the journal as a tabloid. She promised to release data proving the accuracy of their tests. Holmes even appeared on CNBC's Mad Money on the same day the article was published, where she faced criticism. Despite the backlash, she defended herself by saying that when you try to bring about change, people first think you're crazy, then they fight you, but eventually you change the world.
This is what happens when you work to change things, and first they think you're crazy, then they fight you, and then all of a sudden you change the world.
In January 2016, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, warned Theranos after finding irregularities in their laboratory. The CMS proposed a 2-year ban on Holmes owning or operating a certified clinical laboratory due to ongoing problems. Holmes expressed her disappointment and stated that the lab will be rebuilt with the help of a new advisory board. In July 2016, the CMS banned Holmes from owning, operating, or directing a blood testing service for 2 years. Theranos appealed this decision to a U.S. Department of Health and Human Services appeals board. Around the same time, Walgreens ended its partnership with Theranos and closed its blood collection centers located in their stores. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, also ordered Theranos to stop using one of their key inventions, the capillary tube nanotainer device. In 2016, the state of Arizona sued Theranos, accusing the company of selling 1.5 million blood tests to Arizona residents while withholding important information about the tests.
When she started using this technology on the blood samples taken from consumers in Walgreens stores, that was an unauthorized medical experiment. There's no other way to put it.
Theranos settled the lawsuit in April 2017 by refunding the cost of the tests to consumers and paying civil fines and attorney's fees totaling $4.65 million. The company faced further investigations by the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and 2 class action fraud lawsuits, all of which Holmes denied. On May 16, 2017, the majority of Theranos shareholders agreed to drop all legal actions against the company in exchange for preferred stock. Holmes released some of her equity to compensate non-participating shareholders for potential losses. In March 2018, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, charged Holmes and the former president of Theranos with fraud for deceiving investors and falsely promoting their product. Holmes settled the lawsuit, accepting certain penalties, including giving up voting control, returning shares to the company, a 10-year ban from holding an executive position in a public company, and a monetary fine. At its peak, Theranos employed over 800 people, but it began laying off staff in 2016 and 2017, eventually leaving only a few dozen employees by 2018. In September 2018, the company announced its dissolution and planned to distribute its remaining assets and funds to creditors. And that wraps up today's video. Thank you for watching. If you have any video topic suggestions, let me know in the comments section down below. And yes, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content.